Do it.
5 no.
Do it.
No.
Do the fracking review!
No, honey. You know I still have scars thanks to that.
I don't care. You piss me off with that entrance of yours!
Our names are RVT, and we are a bunch of certified geeks and bona fide nerds, and you can't teach. So we were a little excited. Are you really gonna make us review this?
You made me suffer through that. So you know what? I'm gonna make you suffer through this!
Alright, you know what? Screw this. I'm out of here, and ain't no one gonna stop me, alright?
Oh, really?
You know I've got more, right? I
know.
Alright, you win. Let's do this. But you know, boys, there's only one word to describe this piece of crap, and I'm a spell out for you!
No, you're not!
No!
7-Up presents It Is Completely Ashamed Of.
It doesn't even die right when you touch this.
Yes, folks, this actually happened. At the peak of its popularity, Saban decided to take the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on a stage show tour. Though, thankfully, unlike the Ninja Turtles, this did not become a musical. Instead, they made something kind of like what Japan does for their Sentai stage shows.
And it makes about as much sense as this scene. Wait a minute, Shake, how did you know about this anyway?
I actually saw this as a kid in person. My dad took me as a bonding trip. He tricked me into thinking it was a basketball game until we got there.
Bet he wishes it was a basketball game, wasn't it?
Oh, you have no idea.
Well, let's find out how this starts then.
All's well in Angel Grove, Zordon. It sure has been peaceful lately.
Okay, boys, how long till the alarm goes off? 5 minutes.
I got 20 bucks, that's 2.
10 seconds. Just watch.
Than usual. Where are the Power Rangers?
They are all at various locations.
Keep track of them, Alpha. I am sensing disturbing vibrations in the morphing grid.
Ay! You were right, Zordon! Oh no!
Fuck!
Hey up, bitches. Thank you. What the hell is this? It's Canadian money. It's all the loose change I got. You shorted me. Pay the rest, ass. Fine. Thank you.
So what Zed is up to is moving the moon base to Earth as part of a possible invasion strategy. Alpha has trouble tracking it even with the help of Tommy's shoulder, which suddenly appears next to him.
Wow, even in the 90s the editing sucked.
So since Alpha can't even get a vacuum to work, much less a viewing globe, we have not Brian Williams here to deliver the exposition.
Hey, look at the camera, not the script.
Apparently a meteor is on its way to Earth and is aiming right for...
Since the tour was happening at whatever city they were in, so everyone name a city.
Communist City! Cardiff!
Zamway. Suplex City!
So the meteor, which looks like a flaming trash bag, crash lands on Earth and conveniently right into the theater. You know, when you make Los Luchadores look like it's got a better budget, you have problems.
Never forget.
So a couple of Zed's goons, looking like generic space aliens and walking like they both dropped the soap in space jail, make their way through the crowd to the entrance of the evil base.
Look at all these little Earth creatures. Jazz hands.
These aliens want to learn about evil from Lord Zed, and that's when we see the Emperor of Evil himself. What the hell is that? HBK.
Whoa, hold that thought, Easy. You might not want to use that one just yet.
Oh, come on, that costume is ridiculous.
Agreed, but there's something coming in just a minute that's even worse.
This better be good.
So as Zed is rambling on about his evil plan, we see the rest of the evil henchmen. Squat, Babu, and even Rita
What happened to Rita here? It's bad enough her face looks like she got an extra slap with the ugly stick, but her outfit looks like she got a case of Ivan's ooze, if you know what I mean.
And we think you do.
I think the Dark Magician from Yu-Gi-Oh! Is gonna want his costume back after you're done with it.
So would Rita be a Dark Magician girl?
And it seems as punishment for Rita's obvious infidelity, she's once again turned into a doll and put back into a coffin. Yeah, get her off the stage so she'll never, ever come back again!
All while Zed continues expositing his plan, as mandated by his contract.
Goldar will ambush and capture them 2 at a time and bring them here.
Everybody got that? Good.
Well, that was a short show. Crappy, but hey, at least it's over. Oh, come on!
Dude, you should know it's never over.
Don't touch me!
So Zordon and Alpha find out the trouble is not in Angel Grove, and worse yet, they can't reach the Rangers to let them know?
I can't reach the Rangers.
Our signal is being jammed.
Jammed, you say?
Matty, that's way too easy.
Yeah, you're right. Besides, we all know his name is Lobo Fuerte. Moving on!
And then Zordon, in his infinite wisdom, decides to send Alpha out to find the Rangers. Yes, Alpha, the robot that was hacked, reprogrammed, and disabled more times than JDF goes sick.
And it looks like he's getting messed with before he even arrives.
A local Chinese restaurant called. They want their walks back.
Of course, it could be worse.
Yeah, that's me, all right. Alpha 6, the latest and the greatest in a long line of alphas. Hey, kid, why don't you take a picture of something? It'll last longer.
And now comes the fun part of this live show. Audience participation! As Alpha gets chased around by Zed's putties, who are also doing their best synchronized dance routine.
What you didn't see was their putty centipede act.
That scarred you for life.
I went through counseling for years to forget that. Remind me to thank my wife later for helping me remember that.
Alpha asks the children in the crowd to call out for the Rangers.
Go, go, Power Rangers! Again! Go, go, Power Rangers! That's it! Go, go, Power Rangers!
And if you get annoyed by that, don't worry. He only does it 3 or 4 more times during the show.
That's when the Rangers finally make their grand entrance in pre-taped footage. The Rangers never appear unmorphed on stage. Gotta love that voiceover work, am I right, boys?
So that's where Johnny Young Bosch learned it from.
Hey, gotta start somewhere. You know, I kinda wish this was one of the shows that Dan Southworth was in.
I know, right? That would be badass. What, you didn't know? You played Black Ranger in some of these shows.
Yeah, but how did you know?
He's the Quantum Ranger, bitch.
So after doing some cool poses, which somehow scare off the putties, they find out from Zordon that Zed is up to something, so they need to investigate.
And now, because we believe you have not suffered like we have, the Nitro Buddies.
Thankfully, Zed punishes these putties for their bad dancing by turning one into a chicken. Oh god, don't let Hiromu see that.
Too late.
He then decides to bring Rita back to full size so he can introduce his monster to them all. So, what was the point of shrinking her in the first place?
Isn't it all pointless?
But hey, at least Zed was thinking outside the box. Yeah!
And that's when we meet Zed's newest monster, Lumitor, which looks like the Cowardly Lion and Snake Plissken did the fusion dance while on fire.
And I hope you got your fill of Rita for a bit, cause she's sent off again. Man, what is with Zed having Rita hung like that?
Jeez, she's getting roped up worse than the big boss man at WrestleMania 15.
Zed, why did you send Rita to the moon? You know you're gonna have to go back there eventually, where she'll be waiting.
So a bunch of Sentai footage signals Lord Zed's attack, with Goldar sucking his dick for the 1,000th time.
You are truly the master of... Stop sucking up!
Jeez, he's worse than Michael Cole was with The Miz.
We finally see the Rangers come face to face with the monster, and not even Ron Wasserman's awesome music can prevent you from noticing they're not fighting. Oh, it looks like they're fighting, but all they do is flip around. And it takes like 5 minutes for one of the Rangers to throw a freaking punch!
Say, Matty, don't you have a song for stage shows like this?
Actually, I do. It goes up like this. Eat it, stage show! Take that little silly cockroach of a stage show, ram it up so tight, and then shove it right up your
Oh, Matty, whoa, calm down, buddy. Get down a notch.
Since they suck at fighting so badly, Adam and Aisha both get captured by Goldar and taken away, leaving the rest to find them before they reach Zed's cave, and Alpha to do his cheerleading again.
As Goldar drags Adam and Aisha back to their base, Aisha pulls the old broken ankle trick, and Goldar decides to leave Squat and Babu in charge of helping them getting moving along. Wow, Goldar, you are a special kind of dumbass, aren't you?
Sure enough, when Goldar is gone, the two Rangers play mind games with the two brainless minions, and would have escaped if it weren't for Zed's new trainee getting in the way. This leads to another fight scene with a little actual fighting, and the Rangers getting stuffed in a cage.
The Rangers then arrive for the rescue when Alpha teleports in out of nowhere, warning the Rangers of the very obvious trap.
Come on, I just teleported here. It's impressive.
So the Rangers make it to Zed's door, only for Zordon to call him back to the park because it's too dangerous?
Zordon, they know they're in danger. That's why they have to go and save them. But why did you summon them to the park and not the command center?
There's a simple explanation for that.
Damn it, Trollon!
Of course, this does work out, as Zed is frustrated about them not falling into his trap. And apparently, he's not the only one.
God! What is that bad whistling?
It was more like nails on a chalkboard.
What is that confounded sound? A bird? No, dimwit, a plane.
Perhaps the horn of a small foreign car? Neat, neat.
Someone listening to Nicki Minaj?
Sentai purists?
Naga from Slayers?
Someone watching Total Divas?
Hey!
No, it's Rita, back again. Somehow she fell from the moon! How in the hell did she survive re-entry?
Magic!
Shut up, you weirdo.
And she's just as quickly out after showing she's been hanging out with Ric Flair and Rob Van Dam.
So Zed decides that instead of killing them, doing something evil for once, he decides to turn them into... Oh look, it's the story editor.
It was the best of times. It was the blurst of times. You stupid monkey.
This makes Chris Angel's magic look like David Copperfield's magic. Trust me, there is a difference.
Wait, didn't you use that joke last year?
Oh, who remembers?
But not wanting to have crap thrown in his face, Zed decides to give the Rangers the bird. Literally.
Yeah, I'd like to give this show to Bird.
So the Rangers hatch up a plan to lure out Lumitor and head off with one of the worst teleport effects I've ever seen. Say what you will about Turbo and how you can see the cut point, at least the light show looked good.
On the count of 3, let's all shout, "Go, go, Power Rangers!" Really, really loud. Ready? 1, 2...
It doesn't matter if the rock comes from.
So the Rangers call for the Thunder Zords. And I know what you're thinking. How can the yellow and black Zords be there without Adam or Aisha? Well, as the boys at Death Battle pointed out, Tommy could call on the other Thunder Zords, so we can't call this a continuity bump. Damn it.
Though we can complain on them using a new edit on them jumping in. A rather bad edit. I know they had to add one for Tommy, but Billy?
And you can tell they had their hands tied even further when they had to use the cockpit from Jew Ranger for the Thunder Zords.
You are made of...
Hold on a minute, player. I need a candy bar.
They did make the Thunder Zords from the remnants of the Dino Zords, so it could be argued that they use the same cockpits.
You know, I forgot about that. Thanks, man. So as Flame Ironheart from Mega Man X over here fights some stock footage,
Burn to the ground! Burn to the ground! Burn to the ground! Burn to the ground!
we have to bitch at the DVD editor for putting a shot of them firing the Firebird just before cutting to the stage where it shows the exact same shot again. Continuity?
And the terrible editing doesn't stop there. The Rangers get ejected from the Zords and start battling him on the ground, implying he either shrunk down to fight them or destroyed them while still being normal-sized.
What was that?
Oh, don't mind us. That was just the sound of our inner children crying out in terror, and then we're suddenly silenced.
I'd say I feel for you, but I don't.
Ouch, honey, that is cold, even for you.
Cold never probably bothered her anyway.
So the Rangers, in an attempt to set up a trap, call upon the audience to...
Come on, everyone! We want rain! We want rain! We want rain!
So they want us to make it rain?
Okay.
Make it rain!
Rain tonight! Rain tonight! Rain tonight! Rain tonight!
Oh crap, that's my money!
And this, somehow, defeats the monster.
Well, I think we're done here. Come on, boys, let's aim straight.
Yeah. Why are you laughing?
Laughter! Absolute terror!
Great plan, Billy. All we need to do now is battle our way into Zed's cave and rescue Adam and Aisha.
This is definitely the strangest thing that's ever happened to me.
Well, you say that, but...
Trust me, this hurts me a lot more than it hurts you guys. It does. Really, it does.
Well, then it must hurt you a whole lot.
So Goldar has the putties working on something, and we're not only subjected to more of them dancing, but to this little ditty.
Can you check to see if my ears are bleeding?
What?
Well, the song is accurate at least, as we're subjected to, without a doubt, the worst monster in Power Rangers history.
So the Rangers arrive, and we hear Billy Cranston, the smart guy of the team, say this.
Well, I'd say the best thing to do is to spring the trap and see what happens.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
That's when the robot attacks, and 53 minutes in, Saba decides to finally open his flap.
Oh, God, this scene.
What scene?
Most infamous scene in Power Rangers.
Oh no, you don't mean...
No! No, you can't make me watch the scene! I'm an American! I have my rights!
Dude, chill out. It's a shit sandwich. We all gotta take a bite. Besides, I don't remember the scene being that stupid.
That's right. None of you speaks bird. Take me over to the cages. Squawk, squawk, tweet, squawk, tweet.
I was wrong!
So, in order to defeat this walking pile of old radio parts, they need everyone to make as much noise as possible.
Really then? I thought you'd never ask. Fuck you!
While the Rangers defeat the monster by screaming at it, Adam and Aisha are taken away. So what was the point of that scene?
So the Rangers find Squat hiding out and use him to get into Zed's lair.
But he immediately makes us pay by introducing twerking to the world a whole 20 years before Miley Cyrus.
So Zed attacks the Rangers by turning into a giant inflatable, and the Rangers ask for help one more time. And this one requires some explaining. Before the show, the crowd was handed these razzle-dazzle reflectors, and are now asked to aim them at Zed so he can be defeated by the light.
Adam and Aisha are finally back to normal, and after one last fight scene, we're treated to the best scene in the show. The credits.
Alright, boys, that's the show. So let's do what we do best. Let's rate this bitch.
The story of this stage show is even less than paper thin. Two aliens want to learn how to be evil, but don't do crap and eventually learn nothing. Hell, the Rangers never even fight them. The subplot of Adam and Aisha getting turned into animals is pretty cheesy, even for Mighty Morphin fare. I think what hampers it all is audience participation. They have to ride around the audience, and it just doesn't get you invested at all. That and the inconsistencies of monster height and using noise to beat the big bad robot. In all fairness, they did not set out to make Citizen Kane here, but for a stage show, it works.
The editing on this was terrible. The show itself has several issues with long clips and bad edits here and there. The version on the DVD was so poorly edited, it's almost unbearable. There are several times where a video clip is shown ahead of when it's actually played on stage, leading to the audio being all over the place. When my first video looks better edited than what these pros made, you're doing it wrong!
All I can say about the music, it is by the man Ron Wasserman. The soundtrack for the most part is awesome, and for the live audience, having it played in an arena setting would have truly sounded epic. Other than the one or two songs for the putties, every song is worthy of a spot on your music player.
You know, I can't really fault anyone for how everything was choreographed. Everything was safe and effective, for, well, lack of a better word. You could argue that the fights were slow, but I must add that in one wrong move and a helmet could pop, thus breaking the illusion and the dreams of every child in the room. Speaking of which, I'm surprised nothing broke during the show, considering how low budget it all was. I half expected one of the cage curtains to fall with a Black Ranger eating a sandwich while waiting for his cue.
So boys, bottom line, thumbs up, thumbs down.
I only need this phone and this thumb to tell you how I feel about this piece of shit.
-5 stars!
Yeah, this show gets a thumbs down from me too.
And I give it a thumbs up.
What?
I'm sorry. I mean thumbs up their asses for this shit fest.
Ah.
That's better. So, Shades, think you've been able to suppress this memory?
Actually,
Good enough. Let's go, boys.
Yeah, can I get my guns back now, please? Thank you.
And remind me never to piss off Lady K again.
See, honey, this is why I can't have friends over. You gotta scare them all off like this. I swear to